When Frostborn was globally released almost 2 years ago, it was a huge flop due to bugs that gave off a bad first impression. In this video, I will give the 3 reasons why Frostborn was my favorite mobile game, and then the 1 reason it will no longer be on this channel. So I've been playing Frostborn for over 4 years. The game came out globally on my birthday 2 years ago, and then before that it was in closed beta for about a year and a half. And then before that it was in a secret beta where less than 100 of us tested out the game. The game was in many ways everything I had hoped for in a mobile game, and I have had so much fun covering it for the last 3.5 years. So before I talk about why I'm leaving it, let's talk about the 3 reasons why Frostborn became my favorite mobile game ever. The first reason has to do with the progression of the game. Kefir took the progression of their blockbuster game Last Day on Earth and implanted it into Frostborn. They kept the same beginning where you start off naked and you have a little abandoned plot of land and you have to go out and get the resources to build it up to something big. They also kept the same workbench progression, allowing you to make wood into planks, iron ore into bars, and then plates and then nails. Each of these workbenches changing the game, making it a lot easier than it had been before that workbench had been built. But then in addition to that, Frostborn added some new elements of progression like classes and leveling up those classes, and they kept more skill mechanics in the PvE aspects of the game. So challenges that can be incredibly difficult for an entire 4-man team that is new can eventually become easy to one really experienced player that knows what they're doing. This is something that I loved about Last Day on Earth, which was the original game of this channel, and they did even better in Frostborn. The second thing that I loved about Frostborn is that it was built to be competitive. I already mentioned the PvE aspects, to where unlike Last Day on Earth, which would fix almost any type of skill-based advantages, making it mostly a grindfest of expending weapons to get different rewards, Frostborn kept those skill-based elements, allowing it to where an experienced player can use one weapon to get hundreds of weapons. In fact, they made it to where you can repair that weapon and therefore get rewards ad infinitum. But in addition to PvE competitiveness, they made the zones PvP. You're not always going to run into someone, but often in that time that you are least expecting it, someone with really good gear comes in and you are dead before you know it. And then you have the option to go gear up and try to fight them, or see if you can avoid them or sneak around them to get the same loot, or just avoid that area altogether and farm at a different time when it's safer. Now there's obviously problems with the way that they implemented it, and it actually annoyed a lot of players and is something that some players do not like about Frostborn. But the randomness of when you are going to run into another player and the randomness of what that player is going to do in their interaction with you is something that I love about Frostborn, because it keeps farming in those zones fresh every time. You never know what you're going to expect because every time is a little bit different. Which makes the first reason I mentioned about progression even better, because now that progression is wrought with the dynamic complexity of multiplayer intertwined throughout it. But then in addition to all of that, they integrated within their class system a dependency on teammates, making a 4-man team that knows how to work together far more effective than 8 that don't know how to work together. This created some amazing 4v4 battles, which on one hand was extremely frustrating because we couldn't necessarily generate that fun. We didn't know how to make it happen. But when it did happen, it created some of the best experiences I've ever had with mobile games. Now at one point they did create 2 events that did kind of guarantee those 4v4 battles, but unfortunately with the introduction of clans, it kind of ended up turning into clan teaming where it was 8 versus 4, which kind of ruined the fun of that event. But before that dynamic was introduced, those battles were epic and will forever be ingrained in my memory as some of the best mobile gaming I've ever had, at least in conjunction of what I can expect for mobile gaming. And then the last reason why Frostborn was my favorite game is because it was truly a unique mobile title. A lot of the best mobile games in the world right now are just PC ports over to mobile gaming, and they're great. I love Call of Duty Mobile and Fortnite and many of the other ones. Some of them aren't as good on mobile, like Minecraft is not nearly as good on mobile as it is on the PC or console. But even the ones that are fantastic are still a PC port. They're not unique to the mobile game. Frostborn was created for the mobile platform, and it fit the mobile platform. Everything about it was perfect for when you're sitting on the couch or you're waiting for a meeting and you only got 10 minutes to play on the phone. Frostborn fit that need perfectly, gave me that sense of progression, gave me that sense of competition, all while being unique to the phone. And I'm not entirely sure that I would even like Frostborn on the PC. I might. Some people that use emulators love it on the PC, but for me it just feels like it was designed and fits perfectly for the mobile phone. So those are the 3 reasons why Frostborn was my favorite mobile game, and honestly it is kind of coupled in the fact that I got secret access before everyone else, and then I got it covered a lot and I was known for it. That definitely influenced how much I love the game, making those 3 reasons even more pronounced in my mind. And now I'm going to be talking about the one reason why I'm no longer going to be covering Frostborn on this channel, which is mainly that it just didn't make it. Even though I've promoted the game and pushed the game and others have promoted the game, it still has just about 5 million views. I think it's about to hit the 10 million mark, which on the scheme of gaming in general, that's still amazing. But compared to the other games that I cover on this channel, we're talking about tens and hundreds of millions of downloads for some of these games. And even those games I'm not really covering in detail. As this channel evolves, it's becoming more and more of a channel that just exposes people to all kinds of different games, with my videos covering the top 10 games of certain genres or certain years. I'm enjoying making those videos. I actually have some other stuff that I want to cover as well, but generally the way this channel is going is to more broad, bigger subjects that affect more people. So Frostborn just didn't get big enough to be considered such a broad topic. Now Frostborn is trying to make a comeback. They just released 3 amazing updates in a row and they just keep doing it. Every month they release a new season. The seasons are amazing. They are giving the players what they want. They're making the changes that the players are asking for over and over and over again. They're balancing the game. Frostborn is more balanced than it's ever been in the 1v1 aspects of the game. When you go into a zone and someone kills you because they countered you with a class, then you can go switch to a different class and pretty easily kill them. And there's this amazing exchange between the players that have all of the really good classes that they can counteract each other really well. There are definitely some pay to win aspects of it, but even that, the devs are trying to make changes based on what the players are wanting, even including going against some of the pay to win aspects of the game. Now, all this being said, I actually do have another channel. It's a gameplay channel where I cover almost exclusively Frostborn. On average, about 80% of my videos on that channel are Frostborn because I love the game and I'm going to keep playing it on that channel and covering it a ton. So in some ways, this whole video of me partying it on this channel is almost a, hey, if you like Frostborn, go check out that other channel. I'm going to start anything that I was going to do on this channel. I'm now moving over to that channel. That channel is going to be so much about Frostborn, but this channel, maybe in a passing comment, this is going to be my last dedicated video on Frostborn just because it didn't make it into a broad enough topic for this channel, which is covering those broad topics to talk about. So I hope that helps. If you've never played Frostborn, I would recommend checking it out. I still have the best playlist on the game, giving you all kinds of tips on getting you started. And then if that's not enough for you, go check out my other channel, which has hundreds of videos on Frostborn and is coming out with more almost every day. All right, guys, see you next time.